What's going on, everybody? ChromeOnRust here. I have a few Diablo 3 basic principles, things that are kind of widely accepted throughout the Diablo 3 community, so this should be helping the players who are just kind of getting into the game. So don't expect to be learning like anything groundbreaking. These are just widely accepted things that players really don't talk about, because anybody who's been playing Diablo 3 for a while knows that there's no real secret to Diablo 3. It's just acquiring all the knowledge that you possibly can about what exactly is going on with inside of the game, taking that and using it to your advantage. Now, the first two things that I want to talk about are actually tooltips within the game, so I'm kind of cheating here, but they're my two favorite tooltips because they're actually informative and they don't just come out and say like the cow level is a lie. You know, like we've had the tooltip that the cow level is a lie or something like that for like the past 2 years. We know the cow level is not in the game. Let's get some more tooltips like barbs, crusaders, and monks take 30% less damage than demon hunters, witch doctors, and wizards. Like, that's a really amazing tooltip to know that your barbs, crusaders, and monks are taking 30% less damage than the other three classes. Now, the next one is, well, the orange diamonds that you're going to find on your gear, you're going to find on weapons. Like, what exactly are the orange diamonds about? How is fire skills deal 20% more damage, and the monster kills grant 183 more experience? How are those two even closely related? How they are related is they just do not calculate into your damage number, your toughness number, or your healing number. So it's not going to be increasing these numbers. These are just kind of guidelines. They're rough estimates of how much damage, toughness, and healing that you actually have. They're not something that you actually follow to a T. So just like this weapon here, it has fire skills deal 20% more damage. It's actually increasing my damage, but it's just not increasing my damage number. Now, the next one that I want to talk about is while you are dual wielding, you can see that this weapon here has a 1.2 attacks per second on it. If we look at how many attacks per second I have, 1.2, what do you know? Well, it's because I have no attack speed on my gear. Now, what if I were to throw on another weapon in my offhand, which has a 1.2 attacks per second on it? Take a look up here, what exactly is going to happen? Well, you can see two weapons that are 1.2 attacks per second actually bump each other up to 1.38 attacks per second. Now, the reason being is while you are dual wielding, you actually get a 15% increased attack speed bonus. So, dual wielding, a little bit better than using a two-handed weapon. Now, this is going to vary from build to build, but dual wielding is the choice for most classes. It's going to be what you're going to normally see a player running. It's not going to be necessarily guaranteed, and hopefully in the future it'll come to a point where two-handed weapons, I don't want to say have an advantage over one-handed weapons, but maybe they're a little bit closer in their values of how close they are to each other and how good and how efficient one is over the other, really. Next thing is Horadric caches. Now, Horadric caches that you acquire from running your bounties. You know, you talk to Tyrael at the very end of completing your 5 bounties. He gives you the cache, you open it up on your character. Well, you can actually take that cache that you earned and put it on any character that you want. Like, let's say we're farming on our barbarian. We go over and we want to farm a royal ring of grandeur on our monk, but we really don't have great gear. We just want to get it for the monk so we can complete our 2 sets that we want to use with them. Now, what you're going to be able to do is actually farm on your barbarian, give it to your monk. Your monk opens it up, and well, it's going to be smart loot geared towards your monk and not towards your barbarian, because it doesn't matter what class that you farm it on, just which class that you actually open the Horadric cache on. The next one is key wardens in any act have a chance actually to drop any act key. Now, this is something I didn't know until just a couple days ago. There was a blue post on the forums about it. Thought it was pretty interesting that if I were farming in Act 1, now that key warden is going to normally drop me the key of bones. That's like on its own separate loot server or loot table or whatever you want to say. And then, you know, like you have your key chance drop, and then you have your everything else drops where you can get legendaries, you get gold, you get crafting materials, all the various things. So you have the chance to get your normal key, which would be like the key of bones in Act 1. But you could also find the key of evil in just the random loot that he drops in addition to that. So you can actually find 2 keys off of just killing 1 warden. So I thought that was very interesting as well. Now, the movement speed cap is actually 25%. So if you have max Paragon points in movement speed, actually getting movement speed on your gear is going to be hurting you because it's not actually going to be doing anything for you. So if we scroll down here, we look at movement speed, 25% as I said is going to be the cap. Now this does not apply to legendary properties like things like a chill and exchange would give me, or if I were running with sprint on, those are actually going to be able to exceed that cap. So we'll go ahead and throw on at least one of them here. We'll use the Warcry, doesn't matter which one. Go ahead and if we go to the details, look at the movement speed, chill and exchange, whenever I cast a Warcry, it's going to be giving me an additional 40% movement speed for 10 seconds. I go ahead and I cast it, and you can see there that it bumped my movement speed up to 65%. So if I were to take these pants off, you can see that I'm not actually losing any movement speed. Now the last thing that I do want to talk about is going to be game settings. This is actually a pretty important one, and this is how you are able to like pull open your skills and put whatever skills you want anywhere. It doesn't really matter. Well, there's some exceptions, like Leap can go not on a primary, Earthquake could go on a primary. For some reason, they're kind of choosy about what skills you can actually put in this slot. But all the other ones, you can move them around freely. It doesn't matter where they go. Now, the settings that I am talking about to get into this is you go to the options, you go to gameplay, and there's actually 3 here. I'm going to talk about 4 of them though, but show advanced tooltips. Now let's actually deselect this and see what we exactly see while we are looking at skills. We look at Hammer the Ancients with the smash rune down on it. It says call down a mystical hammer and smash for massive damage. Now if we go back to the options, we throw on show advanced tooltips and we look at that same exact skill. Well, now it's actually giving us some numbers, and we can look at this and say, well, okay, Hammer the Ancients is doing this much damage. How much is something like Seismic Slam doing? Them kind of being similar skills, you know, you go over here and you're like, okay, 620% versus 535%. Seismic Slam's a bigger AoE, but it costs you more fury, and you could start to develop a build before you're even really throwing on skills to test them, because you can actually have the numbers to look at. Really good information to know. Now the next one is elective mode. Enables full customization of skills selected and placement on the action bar. That's what I was talking about. If you do not have this selected, it's going to like make you put a primary skill in your main left click. It's going to make you put a secondary skill in your right click. Not really the way you want to play. Automatically skip all cutscenes. Now this is kind of whether you want to or not. At this point, a lot of players have burnt through the content. Would definitely select this. Now I also like to use always show item labels on ground, and then I like to switch over to push to toggle. Now this is preferred. I just do not like to, when I'm running through a zone, I don't want to have to hit my alt button to throw up what items are going to be on the map. I just always have the item showing. I push to toggle it off if I really just feel like I don't want to bother with it, but that's not really the case, and I'm just kind of hit the alt button by accident and I realize it's disabled, and I'll just hit the alt button again and then I will re-enable it. So if you don't like that your item names are disappearing, the things that you're running by on the ground, you know, you don't want to have to constantly just keep hovering over it to see what the name is, having the push to toggle on will actually take care of that. Now the last thing that I do want to talk about is, well, the PTR is up currently, but the PTR is actually down. They're in maintenance. The PTR is ongoing. How about let's say that, but there's maintenance for the PTR. Now there's a post here that I want to read just a little bit of a couple sentences. So today's maintenance is actually supposed to be complete by 6 p.m. tonight, but there's going to be another maintenance performed tomorrow that's going to be lasting 2 hours. So hopefully maybe we'll be getting some seasons, maybe some of the new items that are going to be coming out, legendary gems, the Ramalandi's gift hitting the PTR soon. Hopefully by tomorrow, that's something that we'll be able to play test around with and everything. Well, that's going to be it for me. I am ChromeOnRust for Quirks for Gaming. I hope you did enjoy. I'm out of here, and you all have a great day.